What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Finn. This is your girl Everly, and I'm speeding through this shit because, goddamn it, I fucking have a headache from hell. I decided to try to do some amateur wrestling and took a steel chair to the face. We're gonna go with that. We're not going to say that I took a car door to the face instead. I definitely took a steel chair.
Anywho, we will be covering March 19th of AEW Dynamite and March 22nd of AEW Collision,
And 23rd.
And 23rd, but that is tomorrow, or later on today,
Yeah,
because it's 3:30 in the fucking morning right now.
To better explain that, as you know, it's March, so basketball has its March Madness. And all that is on the same channel that AEW Collision is on. So they're breaking up Collision this weekend. So instead of it all just being on Saturday, they're pretty much doing half of it on Saturday, the other half on Sunday. That way, time slot wise, they're not taking over the March Madness stuff, but they can still bring the AEW crowd their full show. So instead of it being just the Wednesday Dynamite and Saturday Collision, it's Wednesday Dynamite, Saturday Collision, Sunday Collision Part 2.
Which is basically Dark Out or whatever they call it.
Dark Hour?
Yeah, that. Whatever they called it.
But we will first cover March 19th episode of AEW Dynamite. Go ahead and take it, because we tried this before and I fumbled the bag horrifically. You will see that in bloopers. I'm going to cough now.
So, the night started with Mike Bailey versus Ricochet versus Mark Davis.
Yes,
versus,
Mark, not Mike.
Versus Orange Cassidy for the number one contendership for the International Championship. It was a decent paced match. Mark Davis was able to keep up with the rest of them. As we all know, Ricochet's a high flyer. Orange Cassidy's pretty quick.
Oh shit,
Mike
I think
Bailey,
I'm bleeding again. Yeah. Am I bleeding again?
only a tad bit.
Okay, cool. Continue.
And then, fuck me up. Anywho, Mike Bailey, quick. Ricochet, high flyer. Orange Cassidy's pretty quick for himself as well.
For somebody who gives no shits.
Yeah. But Mark Davis is this big powerhouse dude, so the fact that he was able to keep up with these three, pretty impressive.
Yeah. As you've heard in the last few videos, we've been talking a bit about like the different classes, whether high flyer, striker, powerhouse, giant, you know. Normally, some of the bigger guys, their pace is on a slower level than, you know, the high flyers and stuff like that. So, while Mark Davis, he may not be a big guy, he is a bigger guy compared to the rest of the competitors in that match. So, for him to keep the same pace that everybody else was, good on him, you know.
Yeah. Mike Bailey went for the pin on Mark Davis, and then Ricochet came in and also went for the pin. So now we will get a triple threat at Dynasty.
Yeah, because essentially you had two guys pinning the same person
at the same time.
So they had two ways that they could have done that. They could have had Ricochet and Mike Bailey go against each other to have the definitive, or they just could have made it a triple threat. So,
which is what they did. Yeah,
they went with the triple threat option, which I think allows that match to be a better match. God damn.
So it'll be Mike Bailey versus Ricochet versus Kenny Omega for the International Championship at Dynasty. That was the end of the very first match of the night. Then we had Mercedes Moné versus
Nobody cares.
Billy Starks for the TBS Championship.
Side note on that one. Go ahead, because I know you're about to say it.
So he found out an interesting fact about Billy Starks. If anybody watched NXT in the What?
The
OG era?
Yeah, the OG NXT where it was the black and gold brand.
Yeah, so when Bailey was in her hugger phase,
Bailey buddies.
there was a fan in the crowd who always wore her hair the same way as Bailey,
Mm-hmm.
the hugger shirt.
She was like Bailey's number one fan.
Yep, that was Billy Stark.
Yeah.
And because Sasha, being a heel at the time,
Sasha being the bitch that she always is.
yep, she upset Billy at that young age and made her cry and everything. And Billy swore that she would get into wrestling and take on,
At the time, Sasha Banks, but now Mercedes Moné.
Now, don't get me wrong, Mercedes Moné did have an interview later in the evening giving Billy her props.
Yes, because Mercedes Moné did win that match.
Yep.
But Moné did give Billy her props, which good on her.
Yep. Which was surprising because
she don't give anybody props.
no, Mercedes is a bitch.
Again, the character, not the person.
Yes, we don't know the person.
Personal
outside
feelings aside.
Yeah, we don't know the person outside of wrestling, so do not.
She could
come
be a
at us.
sweetheart, but
Yeah.
as far as the character goes, Mercedes Moné is a fucking bitch.
For Belt Monet.
I don't give a fuck what her nickname is.
But anywho, she retained. It was a decent match.
Yeah.
Then we had MJF promo backstage. I can't remember what all was said. It just had something to do with Hangman again.
Yeah, don't ask me, because...
Pretty sure at that point he had passed out or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. Not that I might be slightly concussed because of that steel chair.
You weren't that night when we watched it. Don't even
Okay.
try that.
Okay. Have I slept since then? Yes. That's my excuse. I sleep.
Okay. Then we had the John Moxley versus Rated R Adam Cope for the AEW Championship in a street fight. The Death Riders returned, so
Unfortunately,
Pac,
Pac, the Bastard Pac,
Yeah.
Claudio Castagnoli,
and Maria
yeah, Maria.
something, but they all returned. They got involved.
Yeah, I mean, it started out with Wheeler Yuta coming out, which he was never physically taken out, but he came out and did a drop kick to Cope.
And then tried to help get Spike out of Moxley's back.
Oh, yeah, that spot. So,
Ugh.
Cope brought in the Spike, like, 2x4, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and there was a few moves with that where...
He hit him in the stomach.
He
then
hit him in the stomach, did
on the
like
back.
a DDT
Yeah.
onto Spike, and then just straight...
Smacked him in the back, and it got stuck. And
Oh, that was... Ugh.
yeah.
Because you see Wheeler Yuta trying to pull it out, and all you see is just the skin on Moxley's back stretching with the Spike. Ooh, it was nasty looking.
Even the ref was struggling to
Yeah.
get it out.
Yeah, it was like, oh my god. Ugh.
But Death Rider members returned.
Yes.
Then FTR came out to assist to
To help out.
Adam Cope
Yeah.
to kind of even the odds.
Right, even though at this point, no, it's not Mariah May.
No, it's Maria something.
Maria Shafir.
Yeah, that.
There we go.
Because Willow came out to take her out.
Yes.
But unfortunately, Moxley retained.
Yeah.
Thanks to the help of the Death
You say
Riders.
unfortunately, but that's your guy, so.
No. Dean Ambrose was my guy.
Mm-hmm.
The Lieutenant Fringe. I see that. Dean Ambrose will forever be my guy. Not John Moxley. Like, yes, he's doing phenomenal in AEW, doing
He's so much
what he
happier
wants. He's happy. More power to him. But the Lieutenant Fringe will always be my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Miss him in WWE, though I know he will never
I
come
was
back.
about to say, I miss Dean Ambrose in WWE? Yes. Do I want him to come back to being Dean Ambrose in WWE?
Only if they allow him to do what he wants.
And they're not going to. So, for that matter, no, I don't want him back in
because
WWE.
PG, children friendly.
I don't give a fuck.
Get past that by now.
If you want to be children friendly, then at that point, strap pillows to the fists. Let's just be honest here.
Yeah.
But because of that is why, no, I don't want him back in WWE. Because he's so much happier and better off in AEW doing what he likes to do.
I don't even think I really have a favorite in WWE right now. Not that I can...
I'd have to think about it.
Yeah. I don't think I even have a favorite at this point in WWE.
This isn't our WWE video, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that.
So, that was to end up that match.
Yeah, you do. Randy Orton. Anyways,
I wouldn't say he's my favorite. He was at one point. But at this point, I don't know. But then we had Bandino being interviewed by Renee backstage, talking about what Chris Jericho did to his brother in front of his mom and sister, taking the mask off his brother.
Embarrassing
the family.
And all that.
Then we had Johnny TV walk up and issue a challenge for Sunday, actually.
Yes.
So it'll be Bandino versus Johnny TV.
Formerly known as John Morrison.
Yep.
Just in case
y'all
didn't know that.
Eminem.
God, I hated that. Melina, Nitro, and Mercury. I think.
Yeah, I think that's how he was going.
Yeah. Anyways, God, I hated that gimmick so much.
We then had Will Ospreay versus AR Fox. Ospreay won.
Of course. Because he is the best of all time. The GOAT.
Yep.
The real GOAT. Unless you want to consider Daniel Bryan's in the real GOAT with his whole goat face thing.
Yeah. Then we had Hangman's interview responding to MJF. We both know that's going to be run back because I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, MJF interrupted that.
Yeah.
Then we had Monet interview, like we said earlier.
Giving her props to Billy, but still being a total bitch about everything.
And to end out the night, we had Megan Bayne with Penelope Ford versus Chris Statlander. The TBS or TNT Women's Champion?
No.
What is Toni Storm?
She's the AEW World Champion.
Yeah.
Or Women's World Champion.
Toni Storm, the AEW Women's Champion, was at the announce table.
Watching the match.
Penelope Ford gets tossed from ringside because she got involved and got caught.
Yeah, so the ref kicked her out.
Megan Bayne, she's on her little shtick with Toni Storm right now, attacking her and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So she decides to send Chris Statlander into her.
Mm-hmm.
Megan won, unfortunately. And to end that, Megan and Toni fight after.
Yeah, not a like official match, just kind of got into a brawl.
Yep.
But that was this week's coverage for Dynamite. So on to March 22nd, AEW Collision, or Collision Part 1 for this week.
Yep. So we had... So when the show completely opened, it already had the competitors in the ring.
Yes.
It was Daniel Garcia versus Adam Cole for the TNT Championship.
Mm-hmm.
Adam, he held out his hand to show the sign of respect. They shook hands.
On to the match.
Yep.
Good fucking match, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
At a certain point, though, Garcia did tweak his knee, which kept him from doing a lot of moves that he would normally do.
If I'm not mistaken, they were saying something that he's had a previous knee injury before. So the fact that he tweaked it and then Adam Cole took advantage and just kept kept on that knee.
Hitting the figure 4 leg lock.
Yeah, wrapping it around the ropes.
Yeah, just
the
exploiting
ring post.
that
Yep,
knee
taking
injury.
advantage of that.
As anybody would do.
Yep. if they know about an injury, they're going to exploit it
Why
to the
not?
best of their ability.
I don't care if you consider that heel activities or not. Like, if I'm in a fight with you and I know you've got a previous injury or a weak spot, I'm going to exploit that shit. The fuck? Especially if a title's on the line.
Yep. Mind you, there was a 20-minute time limit to this match. So
Yeah.
they ended up running out of time, so they called a draw.
Yeah.
Daniel Garcia retained because of said draw.
Yeah, right as Adam Cole went to hit Garcia with the knee, the time limit ran out. And I know Cole was kind of pissed off about that, and Garcia's just like, hey, you did your thing out there. You almost had me. You just ran out of time. Like, nothing I could do about that.
Yep.
So I know Adam Cole's going to want to run it back again. Garcia's probably going to be like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it.
Yep.
Even though this is their second time having a match against each other for the title. So.
Yep. Then we had the most unwanted person to see who thinks he is the best wrestler of all time, Max Caster.
Cax Master.
He came out to issue an open challenge. Hook
Comes
responded to that.
Mm-hmm.
Max tried to took a cheap shot, claiming Hook had a lot to say, and threw the microphone at him.
Which, if you pay attention to Hook, that motherfucker ain't got shit to say. Not
I don't
saying
think he
that
ever
he
really talks.
Yeah, not saying that he probably doesn't have good promo skills, but like
He doesn't care
he
about
doesn't
that.
give
He
a
wants to
fuck.
fight.
He's just like his dad in that regard.
Taz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, if you didn't know, Hook is Taz's son. Taz being the submission machine, like, he'd come out, get into the ring, fight, make you tap out, and then go home. Like, he didn't say much, which is really funny that he's now a commentator.
If I'm not mistaken, Taz was in WWE, then he went to TNA, and now he's on AEW.
Almost. He was ECW before he
Okay.
was WWE.
Okay, I knew he was one of their promotions. I just didn't remember which one.
No. Yes and no. He was OG ECW before WWE bought out ECW.
Okay.
And then when ECW died and WWE brought it back, so you have the OG ECW and then you have the WWE ran ECW. He was in both of those, but he started with ECW OG, then he was with WWE under ECW. I think he did a little bit outside of ECW with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
Then he went to TNA, and now he's with AEW as a commentator.
Okay.
Granted, as of late, I haven't really been hearing his voice too often.
He might be on a sabbatical.
Probably.
Might be taking some time to himself.
Which, I mean, alright, everybody needs it,
Everybody
you know?
needs a break. Everybody needs that vacation every once in a while.
Yeah.
Because we know he didn't get injured. He sits at the commentator.
He's the commentator,
desk.
yeah.
But-
But...
Anywho, Hook got Max to tap out within like 40 seconds of the match.
Oh, yeah. That
match
match
was
did not
done.
last long.
But
which
then
it never
again,
does.
exactly. Max Caster is not the best wrestler of all time. Somebody just needs to break that board that
Oh my god!
he
Seriously,
got notarized
somebody
and
please
shit.
take that paper that he's got and just smash it over his fucking head. Please.
just destroy the thing, because everybody
Honestly.
who keeps beating him knows he is not, because at this point, when does he actually want a fucking match?
Prior to that match, the crowd started chanting for Anthony Bowen, which was his tag team partner in the Acclaimed. And he said something about Bowen isn't around anymore. He took him out. So I'm wondering if maybe here in the next few weeks or so, he might make his return to accept Max Caster's open challenge. And then at that point, it'll bring up a real feud.
Yep.
But back to that match, though. Yeah, there was like a few shots here, a few shots there. Hook gets him in chokehold and makes him tap out.
Yep.
Like in less than a minute.
And then Hook does his little celebration and then walks away.
This video's lasted almost 10 times or 20 times as long as that match did. Damn, cuz.
Yep. Then we had a backstage segment or interview, mind you, with Queen.
Yeah.
Queen Amanada, she's going against Julia Hart again. This will be their third match because they're one.
They were one apiece.
They're 1 for 1.
Julia Hart won the first one, then Amanada won the second one, and
now they're running it back to see who can get this last victory.
2 out of 3.
Yep.
Essentially.
Serena Deeb, she interrupted. Apparently, she's like the professor, and claims that her notebook could help Queen Amanada beat Julia Hart, and Amanada's like, nah. Thanks, but no thanks. I'm pretty sure I'm capable of beating Julia Hart without your notes. Serena's like, we'll see. So, fast forward to that match. Julia Hart versus Queen Amanada. Julia won.
Yay.
So, we're probably going to see Serena go up to Queen Amanada and say, I told you if you would have just let me give you my notes and help, you would have beat Julia.
Moving right along, though.
We had Harley Cameron backstage interview. Mind you, she's going to have a match on Dark Hour. Then she's going to be watching Hologram and whoever versus the Beast and whoever. I can't remember.
Hologram and I can't remember his tag team partner. Versus Beast and
Can't remember that one
Jalistico?
either. I don't know. But she said she is going to be at the announce desk for that match. And then she was discussing the Beast and the possible romance between Harley Graham.
Yeah, Harley Graham and the Beast's love interest thing of whatever the fuck is going on with that.
And the girl interviewing her was like, "What? Aren't you Harley Graham?" And she just kind of vanishes.
She's like,
"Oh, she drops down." Yep, she just drops down and kind of vanishes.
Yeah, because nobody knows, but
yeah, we all know.
If you know, you know. Harley Graham, Harley fucking Cameron. I mean, come on.
Same person, just she likes to
one in the same.
Yeah. Then for the final match of the night, we had Mark Briscoe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Rocky Romero versus the Murder Machines and Konosuke Takeshita. With Don Callis. So basically the Don Callis family.
Pretty much.
There was a couple miscommunications from the Don Callis family, mainly Konosuke
Takeshita and what's the bigger guy?
Cage.
Not Brian Cage. No.
I don't remember that dude's name.
Yeah, the other guy in the Murder Machine.
Yep, because he hit Cage for the first miscommunication.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ended up hitting the other dude from the Murder Machines, long hair.
That guy.
Yep. But even with those miscommunications, the Don Callis family were
still
able to
pick up the victory.
Yep, they were still able to pick up the dub.
And surprisingly, they didn't just start wailing on them. They kicked, what was it, Mark Briscoe, who ended up getting pinned?
No, it was Rocky Romero.
Okay. They just kind of kicked him out of the ring and
Yep.
Don Callis family.
Celebrated. Because mind you, Takeshita lost the International Championship to Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Kyle Fisher lost, which we still haven't seen him since that match in the steel cage against Will Ospreay.
Who?
Kyle Fisher.
Fletcher.
My bad. Yes, I'm tired. I'm fucking shit up. I don't care. At this point, y'all know the struggle.
The struggle is real. Because, you know...
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't do it. Every day we struggling.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was the first part of Collision. Tonight, after I get off work, we'll watch the second part of Collision that airs tonight. And we will put that video up tomorrow, so Monday. Also, by the time that you're seeing this, you'll have seen that our WWE video is up a day late. I discussed it a little bit about how I'm changing how I'm doing the editing and all that. Instead of doing it on all from my phone, we'll record on the phone and then I'll transfer it over to my computer and then edit it on there. And then, speaking of which, that's almost done exporting. I'll edit it on the on the computer and then upload it from there as well. So the reason why the WWE video is late is because I had to get all of that set up and kind of ran out of time to get it uploaded on time. I do apologize. I know the last week has been a little bit off as far as our uploads, just between personal shit going on that we had to take care of that pushed some videos back, and now trying out a new setup.
Being sick a little bit.
Yeah.
My daughter currently has the flu.
Not fun.
No, not with a 2-year-old.
So, I appreciate you guys being understanding and patient when we fall behind a little bit. But now that I've figured out that, I should be able to have everything taken care of
on time. As long as we don't forget, because our brains and memories are complete shit right now.
Yeah, there's so much going on.
Yeah. Just please bear with us.
Yes. Appreciate the patience. Like, comment, subscribe. Honestly, after I'm done with this, I'm probably going to take care of that damn blooper reel that I keep telling you guys about that I have not taken care of yet. I've literally got all the clips together. I just need to put the final touches on it.
But now we're going to have to add some.
Nope. Anything that is not already clumped together will go into another one.
Okay? That works. But anywho, we love you guys.
Yes, love you guys. I know she's ready to go the fuck to sleep. My dog is ready to go to bed. I'm not even tired.
I'm not going to bed. I'll have to get up in an hour to go to my child. There's no point. So we're going to watch something on TV.
Anyways, love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, share it to your buddies, and we will catch you guys next on Monday. Alright, y'all. So, we're back after watching Collision Part 2. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and just forewarn. I am more sick than I was in the last video, or earlier in this video, whatever. So, I'm going to kind of struggle through this shit.
Yeah, the pollen's really getting to him.
Fuck pollen. Fuck that goddamn yellow tree cum. Anyways, so...
The night started out with the Death Riders versus Top Flight and AR for the Trios Championships.
That part.
It was a pretty good match, other than a slight miscommunication because one of the guys moved out of the way and Pac hit Yuta. So
sounds about right, honestly. So, like you said, good match. Near the end of the match,
Pac and
Claudio?
Yeah, Claudio kind of took out Top Flight. Pac did a fucking...
The ref was distracted by...
the match going on in the ring.
AR Fox and Yuta, who were the actual legal competitors in the match at the time. Top Flight was trying to go after Claudio after Claudio tried to interfere. Pac hit him both with nut shots.
Yep.
Claudio kind of did like a double choke slam, which took them out, and then pretty much all three of the Death Riders just ganged up on AR Fox and got the win, which honestly does not surprise me.
No. Yuta's just the punching bag. All he did was get punched.
His ass kicked.
Yeah. And Claudio and fucking Pac did most of the work.
Yeah, so after that, you've got Top Flight, who kind of crawls away back into the ring to check up on AR Fox, and then the crew, which is Action Andretti and Leo Rush, come in and start attacking Top Flight. After that, you have Lexi Nair interviewing Adam Cole backstage with Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong.
Commenting on FTR.
We'll be back here in a second. Phone call. Sorry about that.
Sorry about the brief intermission.
Phone call from baby daddy, so she could talk to her daughter real quick, who I think you made a mention that her daughter's sick right now.
Yeah,
so.
currently sick.
Sorry, but that kind of takes some precedence.
Yeah, between the flu and the pollen, it's knocking my baby on her butt.
Yeah.
Especially for a 2-year-old who's very high energy.
Yeah. Oh.
But anywho, we were just discussing the
backstage segment.
Backstage interview with Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roger Strong. Adam is not happy with the way the TNT Championship match ended. He wants another shot at it.
Which, honestly, I can't blame him.
Right.
Because he was about to seal the deal when the time limit ran out.
Yep.
So he's saying the next time that they run it back, he's wanting it to be nobody interferes, no time limit, you know.
Yeah.
Which I can completely understand that. Because honestly, if the man had like a minute more, he would have. Yeah, he would have had it.
And then Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong were commenting on their loss to FTR because FTR and them keep running it back.
Well, it's more or less like O'Reilly said. He's not mad that they lost. Does it suck? Yes. But he's not even mad that they lost. He's mad at the lack of respect that FTR is showing them. Yeah. When
Uno momento.
O'Reilly and Strong held out their hands, fucking FTR kind of just walked away from them. So I get where they're coming from. It's like, yo, we had a good match. You guys got the upper hand, and you guys got the dub. We went to show the respect, and you couldn't even show us the same respect. Like, come on.
But we also have one of the FTR guys kind of dissing a few people. He dissed Adam Cope the other week.
Dax.
Yeah. Dax is having some issues.
Yeah, Dax is really looking like he's moving on to some heel type shit.
Yeah.
So that was the gist of that backstage
the backstage segment, and then we had Lexi Nair interviewing Shibata.
Yeah, literally right after that.
Yep.
Pretty much all he said is he beat Murphy, or Matthews, excuse me.
Yeah.
He beat Matthews, and he beat Brody King. So, in a sense, he put those dogs down.
Yep.
And she's like, well, what do you mean by that? Which, look, what else could that mean? Like, he beat them both.
Yeah.
And they go by the Hounds of Hell, so, I mean...
Yep.
So he reiterated it. He said, I put those bitches to sleep.
Yep.
And then walked away. Like,
then we had a match between Johnny Lee versus Bandino. It was a decent pace match. Bandino got the win. He decides to call out Jericho and the Learning Tree and demands he bring his brother's mask. Now, remind you, Jericho removed the mask of gravity when they were supposed to have their match.
At Revolution.
Yep, at Revolution. Jericho and the Learning Tree came out with the mask.
Jericho talked a lot of shit.
Yep, Jericho talked a lot of shit and told Bandino he was not getting the mask back and said the most disrespectful thing he could do is put the mask on. Which he does. Bandino punched Jericho because Jericho was continuing to run his mouth saying, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Big Bill gets in Bandino's face and tries to go after him, and then the Bad Apple,
Brian Keith
tries to get involved. Bandino pretty much took both of them on and avoided a choke slam from Big Bill, and he got the mask back.
Yes. Now, we didn't make a note of it, but remember how I showed you that that clip, or not the clip, but the picture of Jericho and that kid earlier, when I was in the room, I saw the actual clip of that whole interaction. That shit was funny as fuck. Honestly, it's kind of going around all of social media right now. So if you haven't seen it, just, oh my god, look it up. Jericho gets into it with a kid at AEW or some shit like that. You'll find it. Pretty much like this fucking 7-year-old is like flicking Jericho off, and Jericho's like, I bet you don't even know what that means. Kid's like, yeah, I do. It means fuck you. Fucking, they're going back and forth, and the kid stands up on the chair and lifts his shirt, and this kid is ripped. For a fucking 7-year-old, this kid ripped. Like, take Finn Balor's abs and put them on a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
This child is ripped for no fucking reason. Like, Jesus Christ. And, you know, fucking the kid goes, yeah, I got abs, unlike you. Talking to Jericho, who he kind of got that dad bod going on right now. Mm-hmm. Oh my god, that whole shit was fucking hilarious. Like, just, here's this grown man arguing with a fucking, like, 7-year-old. I say 7-year-old, but I don't really know how old the kid was. He just looks roughly around 7 years of age, so. But this shit was funny as hell.
We then had a Megan Bain video promo, and then Toni Storm popped up, and she had her backstage promo.
Talking about Megan Bain.
Yeah.
And in her highly exquisite, articulate phrasing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Tony, what the fuck?
Very cringeworthy.
Talking about her and her shadow, or no, her and her reflection locked eyes and made love all night. What the fuck is going on?
Very cringeworthy. Anywho, then we finally had the Harley Cameron versus Amina Belmont. Harley won.
No-name.
Yeah, it was somebody
talent.
We didn't know. So automatically we knew Harley was going to win.
Yeah.
Then we had another Lexi Nair interview with Don Callis concerning Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher returned last night.
Yes. Did a little promo about how next week Kyle Fletcher will be back in the ring and he will prove why he is the proto-star. He is destined to be the greatest of all time. Blah, blah, fucking blah.
And then to end last night, we had Hologram and Commander versus Jalistico and the Beast Mortos. After Harley's match, she decided to sit at the announce table during that match.
Yeah.
It was a really good match because luchadors, obviously.
Yeah. That high-flying flippy shit. Peak chef's kiss.
Yeah. Harley decides to leave when they're all outside the ring. And then Harley Graham appears.
Yeah. Crazy, right? Harley Cameron disappears, and then Harley Graham comes out.
Same
gear.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, in the same gear that Harley Cameron was in. But no, it's not the same person now.
Yeah.
Hologram and Commander did get the win on that. They did have a spot where Mortos and Harley Graham, Harley Graham kind of
locked eyes,
and he's just like,
and she kind of messed with his beard, and then Drilistico kind of
separated him. Was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Pay attention to the match. But yeah, overall, honestly, I'd say that match was probably the match of the night. As far as rating goes, and I'm going to do my rating based off of both parts of Collision, not just singular parts. I'd say I'd give it like a 7.5.
I think we forgot to do the rating for WWE.
Probably. I'm going to blame it on the fact that I'm not 100% right now.
Our brains have been so foggy on certain things. If we forgot any of the ratings, let us know. Our bad.
Sorry, my bad. my bad, her bad, our bad.
We can only
we
remember
bad.
so much, and yeah, trying to remember the rating scale kind of gets lost in everything else
Yeah.
when discussing.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, the rating to me is somewhat important, but the more important thing is the recap itself. But as far as Collision goes, Heartburn sucks. I give it like a 7.
Yep. 7.5.
Told y'all I feel like shit. But on that note, that's our AEW coverage for this week. I should have this up at some point tonight.
Yeah.
I say that like they're hearing this live.
Right.
But when I get off work, we'll watch Raw and go ahead and do our record for that, which that won't go up until this coming Saturday, though, as you guys already know. So on that note, like, comment, subscribe. I did put the blooper reel part 1 up on here under a short and also on our TikTok page. So go check those out. Do what you guys do. Give the likes, the comments. Tell us it's trash editing. I get it. Gang, gang. But on that note, we will see you guys in our next video, which will be our TNA on Friday.